Continuing in the book of Romans 9 through 11, we're attempting to counteract the emphasis of Christian Palestinianism or Palestinian replacement theology, namely the idea that Palestinians have replaced Israel in God's covenant promises with regard to the land. The fact that they've lived there a long time, that takes precedent over God's covenant promises. This is a heresy, and I think Romans 9 through 11 corrects this heresy as probably no other portion of Scripture does. We're in Romans 9 through 11, as I said. We're in actually chapter 11. We took a look at a passage last week, verse 13 through 15. I want to read it again. The apostle says, I'm talking to you Gentiles, non-Jews. I'm talking to Gentiles, inasmuch as I'm the apostle to the Gentiles. I make much of my ministry in the hope that I may somehow arouse my people to envy. And you'll recall we said that one of the means by which the Jew would be aroused to envy and jealousy would certainly be if he saw that the Gentiles were using Yahweh, the name of the God of Israel, as their God and identifying with them. And of course, Malachi says that from the rising to the setting of the sun, Malachi chapter 1, verse 11, from the rising to the setting of the sun, my name shall be great among the Gentiles. So it tells me that probably the Gentiles are going to be the one that lead the charge on this, of emphasizing, praising, exalting the name of Yahweh. And this will, no doubt, create envy on the part of the Jews. Well, that's the purpose of Paul. He says that I may somehow arouse my people to envy and to save some of them. For if their rejection is the reconciliation of the world, what will their acceptance be but from life from the dead? They will experience spiritual resurrection, spiritual new life, and that's coming. There is a remnant that's always a remnant, but that remnant is going to be greatly enlarged in the days ahead. If the part of the dough, now the dough at this point is a metaphor for the patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. If a part of the dough offered as first fruits is holy, if the patriarchs are holy, the first fruits, then the whole batch is holy, the whole people of God, all of the descendants, all of the remnant, all of the faithful followers of Yahweh, then they're holy as well. If the root is holy, once again referring to the patriarchs, then all of the branches, all that the root produces, namely the Israel of God, the people of God who are in full belief. Then this verse, and this is a critical verse, as far as the identity of Christians is concerned. There has been a massive, monumental identity theft of the identity of Christians. We don't know who we are until we look at a passage like this and take it at face value and let it speak to our hearts. Verse 17, Romans chapter 11. If some of the branches, some of the Jews, original branches, are broken off, and you, though a wild olive shoot, have been grafted in among the others. You, the Gentiles, you've been grafted into this root, the root of the patriarchs and the lineage and the heritage of the people of God, the Israel of God. And you now share in the nourishing of the olive root. Do not boast over these branches. If you do, consider this, you do not support the root. The root supports you. The patriarchs, of the faith of the patriarchs, and the heritage that they have left within the Israel of God supports us. But we're now included in it. That's our identity. That's our true identity. We're engrafted into the Israel of God. Now note what this does not say. This does not say that we're engrafted into the church. I'm going to talk more about that next week. But we are engrafted into the Israel of God, and there's a sense, a very biblical sense, in which not only does the church not replace Israel, but Israel, and according to this passage, replaces the church as we know it. I'll have more to say about that. But this is critical. This speaks to the very identity of who we are as non-Jewish believers in Jesus as Messiah. If you, though a wild olive shoot, have been grafted in among the others, and you now share in the nourishing sap of the olive root, namely the patriarchs and their descendants, their believing descendants, do not boast over these branches. If you do, consider this: you do not support the root, but the root supports you. We have been grafted in to the Israel of God.